like making some serious money. So at the end of
definitely looking to build relationships with other like-minded, high-performing individuals. So it's an honor to be here and an honor to serve. And hopefully, I learned a few things. I'll give you a little bit of background as to like who I am, what I've done, and what I'm working on. But seriously, really hope to add value. Hopefully, I can really make a shift or something inside of your business that can move you forward. That being said, at the end, we can definitely jam, chat, connect, talk about whatever. And then hopefully we can connect afterwards and build a relationship going forward. So are we good, or should we still wait a little bit?
No, I say we dive into things. I sent over some questions. We're pretty much going to pamper you with some questions, and we'll open it up to Q&A afterwards and just kind of collaborate. But Zan, if you want to do a quick little intro in regards to, your experience, what you've been able to achieve, and things along those lines before we dive in.
For sure. So where are the questions?
I sent over a shared doc. Let me reshare it. I'll drop you a link in Telegram.
Yeah, I have that actually as well. I just wanted to make sure that I had what you were talking about. And then if you want to shoot that over to me too, I can pop that open. Can one of you give me access to share my tablet? I just like to.
Yeah, you can go ahead now.
You know how I like to do.
Yeah, you like to draw and
roadmap
everything. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, so my name is Zan Shaikh. I've been fortunate enough to be involved in e-commerce for well over 7 years now, and learn basically every single thing that I think that there is to know about the digital space, and being able to not only obviously make money online, but how to build a profitable, lean operation across multiple different industries. I've been fortunate enough to build multiple e-commerce businesses, scale them up, sell them, generate millions of dollars online. Been fortunate enough to be involved in a lot of acquisitions. In my time just in the Amazon space, I've built over 45 brands, largely through a full service Amazon management company that I built and sold called Build a Brand. We developed about 30 assets for clients, brought them in, utilized their cash to produce a cash flowing asset that we had equity in, and then sold multiple of those assets. And then eventually I just exited I own 50% of the company. I sold that business. Now what I'm really looking forward to do, I'm taking one of my companies to about, I think we'll hit the 8-figure mark either this year or like mid next year. And am looking at developing really like my long-term play, just so kind of like what my vision is. I'm very vocal about this. Like, I don't mind telling people, like, if I don't hit the goal, oh well, I either work to it until I die or I die, but I'm certainly trying to be a billionaire in my lifetime. And as a result of that, like, I'm just very strategic about where I'm using my time, energy, using my money, and like the skills I learned, so that I can put myself as close as possible to hit that level. Frankly, with the level of inflation that's going on, we're probably going to have to be trillionaires to call ourselves billionaires. But anyways, that's a topic for another time. So yeah, and then the last thing is I'm really focusing on pivoting my skill set to SaaS, because it's very simple. I'm very actually, I don't know if you guys know who Alex Becker is. I just came back from his Inner Circle Mastermind, where he talked about how he took his company High Rose to over 200 million in 3 years. And dude, like, it's just like, look, if I build any business, whether it's Amazon, consulting, whatever, unless I have an insane moat, I grow that business to $10 million a year, which is pretty easy. Like, as internet entrepreneur, 10 million can be done in like 3 years. Like, it's not something crazy, because we have ad channels. Like, you can freaking spend money and make money back, and very like strategically. So that number is actually not very hard to hit. The thing is, you build a SaaS company to 10 million, you're getting $100 million check. You build an Amazon business to 10 million, unless you have some very unique thing about your brand or product or whatever, like, you're getting 30 mil, which is cool. Like, 30 mil is amazing, right? 30, 40 mil is amazing. Most of you ideally will probably get an exit for anywhere between 10 and 30 mil at some point in your lives, like from exiting your businesses. But dude, like, we'll talk more about SaaS in a bit, but that's basically who I am, what I'm up to, and yeah.
Cool, man. I love it. Yeah, you've done just about everything. Thanks for sharing your vision. I know you're very vulnerable and vocal about that, and it's inspiring for sure. Zan, I'll hop right into the questions. What I wanted to, or what we had the topic, I know we chatted with you about this as well, is how can we take a business and automate it, but also delegate those tasks effectively to really build that business and not, it fall down or anything like that. So with that said, the first question that we had was, when you're building a team, what's that thought process and mindset look like, and what does that process look like as a whole?
Yeah, for sure.
Question,
So
but I know you're really good at answering it.
yeah, absolutely. So, at the end of the day, and hopefully like what I'm going to do ideally is everything that I tell you guys is going to be very like just how I think. I'm not going to just try and give you like an answer, because that's not very helpful. I'm just going to try and give you the way that I think. So at the end of the day, like at some point, you got to realize that your job as a CEO is just to be an assembler of teams. Like your job is to be Nick Fury. Like everyone thinks that the CEO should be like, if you think about the Avengers, like, it should be Iron Man, right? Like Iron Man, but no, Iron Man's not the CEO. If you think about it, it's Nick Fury, right? Because what did Fury do? He went out, hopefully you guys get the example, but you're trying to assemble a team of all-stars, right? You're supposed to be Bill Belichick. I don't know if you guys know football, right? But you're supposed to be the coach, and that's the all-star is not the CEO. The CEO's job is to like find really great people. So the first thing I'm going to say is like, if your company is not growing once you've delegated, it's just because you picked the wrong people. That's it. Like really, like at some point in business, it really just is finding really great people that are really qualified, that can grow your business, putting them in the right place of the business, and then they just go off and do their thing. And they're going to go off and grow that business. And you can kind of rest assured. So, most people, and I've made this, I've freaking made every mistake in the book. But, a lot of people, what they say is like entrepreneurs, usually they say, hey, like, oh, I want to get someone super cheap, and I'll train them up, right? Like I'll train them up and I'll give them all these skills. But the issue with that, can it work? Of course. But the issue with that is like, you're literally spending time and energy, which are finite resources, instead of money, which if you really understand what money is really, for somebody who can make money, it's not a finite resource, right? Money's everywhere and you can allocate it. So first things first is like, you really want to be careful about who you hire. Like that's the number one reason why things go wrong, is who you hire. If you hire the wrong person, like frankly, if you don't know crap about managing, if you don't know anything about KPIs and systemization, all that, which we'll get into, you're going to have a like really bad time if you have the wrong person. But if you have the right person, they will literally solve that for you. They'll make it so that you don't even need those things, because they'll manage themselves. So if you want, Eric and Brian, I can go very like just procedural from like A to Z if you want, or you can just tell me exactly where everyone you think is in the stage of their business, and I can walk them through what I would do in that stage.
I think we should do A to Z, just because a lot of our questions are going to be answered probably by you doing just exactly this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then A to Z is something called the hero's journey of entrepreneurship, right? And it really is, once you adopt these frameworks, it's going to make a lot of sense why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking and why I'm saying the things I'm saying. So here's how it starts off, right? Like most people, they either have like no money, right? Or like they're working a job. Okay. So, usually they're like, okay, I'm either working a job and I don't have time, or I have no money, right? And usually they're drawn or driven to go and do something that they can get more upside. So for all of us here, usually, and some people skip these steps, some people skip to the very end, right? It just depends on what you know and how you're kind of like what you're inclined to do. But a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just get into business for themselves. So they'll become a freelancer, right? And so what do you know, it's this psychology of a freelancer. Freelancers, they're usually thinking, okay, my work equals time, or my work equals time and my time equals money, right? So, most people who are freelancers, they're worked on something called billable hours, right? They don't get paid per project. They don't get paid per result. They get paid per hour, right? So a lot of people, you go on Upwork, right? There maybe a design person, right? Or maybe, you know, someone who you hire inside of your business. Oh yeah, pay me $400 an hour, totally fine. So they're thinking, let me get paid per hour or some sort of denotion of that. Then the next jump is you realize that, you know, damn, like it's it's pretty hard to just sell my time because you had a bottleneck here of you only got 24 hours in a day, and realistically you're only really working 8 hours of that day. So there's a limit. You know, the only way to scale your income is to scale the amount of money you charge per hour. But even then, at that point, at some point, it's like, there's a bottleneck to scale. So the next jump a lot of people go is in what we call entrepreneurship, right? So what a lot of people call entrepreneurship is this like early stage, like you're coming right out of the primordial ooze, you're creating this offer or result or package or product. You know, for us Amazon sellers, yeah, we're going out and maybe we drop shipped a little bit before, we flipped a little bit before, we did a little bit of wholesaler, we got some cash up, right? Whatever it is we did. And then we got some cash. We said, hey, I want to build a brand. We take that money, we throw it into inventory, right? And we realize, okay, cool, there's a reduced bottleneck to scale here because I can sell X amount of units. Like you go on to Amazon, you find, oh, baby bibs are selling over 1 million units per month, right? This freaking seller, we pull up Jungle Scout or Helium, oh my God, these guys are killing it, right? And that's that first stage of, okay, I'm going to go learn how to do, you know, PPC. I'm going to learn how to do ranking. I'm going to shoot. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars on like, you know, coaches and all this stuff, right, on Amazon to learn what I was doing. Right? Because I just had no idea, you know, and you're doing it all yourself. Oh, I'm going to become a PPC legend, and I'm sourcing with the sourcing agent in China, and I'm hiring like, you know, a VA here and a VA there, but it's all your work at the end of the day. However, a lot of people can make, I know people that are in this stage of entrepreneurship where they're making 10 to 30 mil a year. Okay. So the thing is, the bottleneck at this stage in business really gets released because what are you selling? You're no longer selling time. You are selling results. Right? You are selling an end result, and end results easily sold via product, right? Well, that's what we call productization, right? And so that's why Amazon's a great business model for a lot of people. I mean, I know people who make 30 mil per month on Amazon. You know, I've met people who do over $1 billion in sales on Amazon. I've literally seen behind their business. It's no different than actually somebody who does 100 mil or even 10 mil. You realize actually the last piece of scale is something I'll talk about at the end. But, you know, a lot of people honestly are probably at the entrepreneurship stage. Then there's another jump. Okay. This is the jump at which point the entrepreneur is like, whoa, like I've got all this like shit to deal with. I'm working all the time. I mean, Amazon provides a lot of value because we can leverage our time because of their automations and systems, and they do a lot for us, but still, you know, there gets to the level of, you know, if you're married, you know, wifey's not happy because you're not spending much time with her. If you're, you know, single, your buddies are like, dude, what happened? You know, where the hell you been? You know, you start wanting to do things and you start getting stressed because like you just literally are trying to fit 2 things into 1 second of life, right? Because your time is being used up and there's just so much shit happening. And so what actually starts happening is, I call it entrepreneuritis, okay? Which is literally and you know, if you haven't felt this yet, God bless you. If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You start to hit an upper bound limit on your human potential to process data and think, right? So much bleeping, you know, bleep is happening at the same time that literally you are no longer able to make effective decisions. You know, so for me, you know, this started happening when I was managing multiple brands at the same time. And I was managing all the PPC campaigns. I was dealing with all the supplier stuff. I was dealing with all the packaging. And yeah, sure, like, you know, the first product's not too hard. The second product's not too hard. But like, then you start doing volume. And literally at one point, I just freaked out and like literally let one of my brands go to crap. Like I just couldn't even think about it anymore. And that's when I realized, whoa, like I'm not a superhuman. Like I'm pretty, like as entrepreneurs, we're all stars, we're superstars, but you're still human. Like until you can fly around, right, and like manipulate gravity with your mind, like you're no better than any human physically. Like you do have an upper bound limit on what you can do. And when you hit that, you go into something called CEO, right? So what is this? What is CEO? What is the mind frame and the mindset of CEO denoted as? Well, the mind frame of CEO is really that what you do is you go from doing, okay, and you go to managing. And that's really the biggest way to denote this mind frame. It's really just one thing. It's you go like literally the entrepreneur is an all-star because they're so good at doing things, like holy crap, this guy's like to literally get a business from 0 to even 100 grand. It takes a certain kind of someone, right? Who can just do, who can perform, who can handle pressure, who can go close deals, negotiate contracts. They have this like A-type personality almost always to them, or this driving, motivating force that allows them to become something like a prime mover. But again, you're only one human being. You only got so much time. So it becomes ineffective at scale for you to do everything because you're not even the best at all of it. So really, again, that mind frame, the last one of CEO is doing to manage it, right? And the way you can think about it is the CEO is kind of like this big brain, right? And your chiefs, your employees, your team members, the people that you hire and employ under the structure under you, they're the actual hands, right? So let's call this the COO, the CMO, the CTO, the chief product officers, chief revenue officer, whatever officers you so decide, because guess what? It's your business. You get to do whatever the heck you want. It's not a democracy. It's not a republic. It's a freaking monarchy, right? Like this is business. You own it. And the issue with a lot of entrepreneurs is they become slaves to the business, right? Let's call this the biz. And the entrepreneurs on the ground just taking it, right? Whereas the CEO they're not there fully, but they begin to kind of take helm of the business. They're kind of like standing on top of it. All right. But they still got to ride these reins. Okay. By the way, I don't know why the business is a box. I just think of businesses as like, automated mechanisms because I don't know, I'm weird. But anyways, the business is a box. So, the CEO is kind of like riding the reins, right? And like kind of pulling the direction. And like they're saying, in a day-to-day of a proper CEO, they are not doing things, they are deciding things, they are designing things, right? So what does a typical day in a CEO's life actually look like? Well, he wakes up. First of all, he prioritizes mental and physical health always, because a CEO needs to be at 1,000 billion % freaking performance, because if it cannot, one decision will destroy your company. You're always one decision away from your business going to hell. One decision. Want to know how I know? Go look at OnlyFans. They tried to make the decision to move away from having a certain demographic of people, right? And they literally projected to lose 90% of their revenue, and we're like, okay, wait, chill out, right? Go look at Evergrande. $300 billion. They need China to go bail them out. Otherwise, we're going to go into a global recession, right? So you're always one decision. Don't ever play. You're always one decision away from your business. Just like you got to think about it. Scale is like driving really fast on the highway. Okay. One wrong turn, like if you're going 30 miles an hour, you can turn the car and you're going to be fine, right? You're going 200 miles an hour on the highway, one turn, one small degree could send you 30 feet into the side rail, right? So what you got to really realize is that the CEO, what do? They're waking up, they're meditating, making sure they get ample water. They go and make sure they take their time with their morning. They make sure that their mind is right. Their entire thought process is right. Why can they do this? Because their time is free. It's designed to be free, right? Why? Because when they go to check in at work, right? They walk in, they go check in on their CMO. They say, hey, how are the marketing campaigns looking? Okay, cool. All right, what's our ROAS? All right, cool. Yeah, make sure that report is sent to my email by the end of the day, or my Slack chat, whatever. You go and check on the CRO. Hey, how are we doing on numbers for the day? Oh yeah, we did about $32,000 in sales today. Oh, awesome. Like, what's our profit margin on that? I don't really know for sure, but I think probably about 25%. That's a little less than last quarter. He says, yeah, man, like it's because honestly, I think it's because we have a competitor that came into the market and they're starting to eat away at our market share. Oh, interesting. Do you think there's anything that we can do about this competitor? Honestly, man, no, their USP and value prop is way better than ours. You know what, man? Is there another category or way that we could position our product in a different part of the market so that we can dominate more portions of it? Oh yeah, like we could do that. Hey man, why don't we try that? Goes back to his office. Do you see how the CEO, they're not doing things anymore. They're appointing people and helping them think better, helping them operate better. They're putting responsibility in their hands and they're designing the structure around them. Okay. And then what are they doing? They're making high level key decisions, like literally one decision a day that can move the company forward, right? So for example, like in my day to day, I'm not worried about, making sure that my Amazon channels are producing or my sales people are closing, right? I'm not worried about advertising or my marketing budgets or anything. All that stuff set in stone. I'm not worried about project management. I'm literally not, I'm unbothered, right? But what am I bothered about? Like, okay, well, what was the last week's revenue? What's my last month? What's my last 30-day revenue? What's my last quarter revenue? What's my profit? What's my profitability, right? Like how's the lifeblood of my business pumping? How are things going? And by the way, after I go through all this, we can ask questions and all that. So that's the mindset of a CEO, right? Is it's no longer doing, like, that's why a lot of entrepreneurs, they never ever break that entrepreneur wall and they never break into CEO because they're just too good at things. You really have to be an all-star. You have to be a LeBron James in your own right to be a business owner and build it from zero to a million. You really do. Like, you need to have a very unique skill set of who you are. That's why most people can't do that. But you will always, or you will suffer the consequences of entrepreneuritis, or right? You will deal with the upper bound limits of yourself, and your life will suck. If you don't figure out how to literally duplicate yourself and hire great, talented people that can run parts of your business and you can trust them with it. Now, see, the thing is, like, society really, like, I'm telling you, society is one big mind fuck. Once you start really looking deep into it, like, you will realize that literally everything that you are taught as a person, as a part of the masses, you are being lied to about everything, literally about everything, whether it's your health, money, success, power, anything. Like, go look, you'll see. And the thing is, like, CEO is touted to be this amazing top guy. Like, everybody wants to be the CEO. And what if I told you that's really not what you want? Like, it's not. I mean, it's a lie, right? Like, they want you to dream about being a CEO so that you work your ass off every single day, climbing up the corporate environment so that you can one day work your ass off to become the CEO, right? And at the end of the day, that's not what you want, okay? Because the truth is, and Andrew just said it, right? You want to be the owner. And by the way, I'm telling you right now, owner still isn't the best. And I'll tell you in a sec. And now you guys are gonna be like, damn, levels to this shit, right? So the thing is, yeah, like, what mind frames and frameworks denote the owner? Well, the owner has simply done one thing, which is they've appointed the CEO. Okay, they've appointed the CEO, right? Often, for you to appoint a CEO, it's gonna take equity, it's gonna take shares. Like, my last business, Build a Brand, I sold it because I had a CEO in place. A lot of times, investors are not interested. Like, if your business is big enough, they're not interested in buying the business unless you come with it, if you're the CEO at the time, because you're the CEO. You're running you're the head. Like, selling a business without selling the CEO is like chopping the head off and giving you the body, right? Like, you can't do that. It's really hard. So, my last business, the reason why I was able to sell it was because we appointed a CEO. What do? We gave her, this is a little bit much, but we wanted faster growth. Usually you give a CEO anywhere between 1% and 3% of the company equity wise, right? So you give them percent of the company, you give them a salary, you make sure they're freaking amazing in every way that you want. You want to make sure that they've done it before. Always, always, always. I've learned these lessons the wrong way. When you hire, you only hire someone, okay, for any position. They have results in, they have proof of the results in. You don't take them at their word, proof, okay? You make sure that they have passion, they actually like it, and why they like, what is their why? Understand them, okay? Understand them, right? If you hire someone that's like, oh yeah, man, I'm just new and like, I really love this stuff, but I haven't really done it before. And you're like, oh, I'll take a chance on this guy. We'll get him for the cheap. Your business will suffer and you will grow slowly. I'm gonna tell you right now, the results of your business right now are truly just the results of the team that's in place right now. That includes you if you're in the team. And hey, guess what? As the owner, you don't even need to be in the team. You just need to supply the risk and the capital, right? So anyways, really what's denoted by the owner is that truly what's happened is they've appointed a CEO and they begin to remove themselves from the operations. Okay, they begin to remove themselves from ops. Okay, and they're really more focused. Like owners are focused on really more long-term reviewing, so they'll review like usually on a quarterly basis, right? What's going on with the business, and usually what are owners really care about? I mean, at the end of the day, they're looking for cash flow, and they're looking for growth. So you, as a business owner, you're not worried about the day-to-day minutia. That's not what your job is. It's not what you're here for, right? And these are really big mind frames that are very hard for people to get over. Like, yeah, sure, you think logically, yeah, fucking no shit, Sherlock, but excuse my language. But the thing is I've seen so many people, they stall because they just can't get over this. They still want to do stuff. They still want to show up to work, right? When in reality, your job, I'm telling you right now, your job, if you want to be literally so happy with everything in your life, if you want to be literally constantly learning new skills and becoming richer and building amazing relationships and becoming more powerful and living an amazing quality of life, you need to be an owner or the next level of thing, what I'm going to tell you in a sec. Okay. Which is, at the end of the day, the owner is unbothered, right? Like, you guys all know how it is being stressed about business problems, right? Like, you all know how it is. Friggin', if you guys are shipping from China right now, when's our product going to get here, right? When you're, all of a sudden Amazon takes your listing down because, some BS complaint or some infringement or whatever, right? Been there, done that. Been to Amazon jail more times than I can count, right? But at the end of the day, the owner is not worried about that. The owner has put people in place to insulate himself from those decisions. And of course, we can get into the nitty-gritty and the how, why, what, who, where. We can definitely go into that, but you really just need to understand, what does the owner do? They're putting someone in their place, stepping back, right? And of course, they're there to coach, right? If they need to, it's still yours, right? You own it. But at this stage, you've stepped away, right? Now, the last stage, which a lot of people, again, they kind of blindside themselves to the fact that this is the ultimate end goal of wealth. It's the ultimate end goal of entrepreneurship. It's the ultimate end goal of everything, right? In the game of business, which is becoming the investor. Okay. So what does the investor do? What is the mind frame between the investor? Well, really, it's all about exits and acquisitions. Okay. That's what it is. You are now playing full scale the game of Monopoly, full scale, right? How do you usually become an investor? Often it's when the owner gets his first exit, right? Whether it's, they sold to a private equity fund, or they sold to some random guys on the street, or they sold to their business partner. But if you're lucky enough, you set things up properly enough, you've built this machine that now somebody wants to pay you, years and years and years worth of potential earnings now, right? So now what is the investor focused on, right? At the end of the day, the investor is focused on first, right? Preservation. A lot of people think it's growth. It's about preservation first, right? Because what the hell is $10 million worth if you lose it next year? Nothing. Okay. So first is preservation. At the end of the day, the investors, a lot of people, they think, oh no, I'm just going to YOLO my money into this thing, right? Into this stock or crypto or whatever. But the truth is, you play the game like that, you're going to lose everything, right? It's all about first preservation. You want to make sure that what you've built and made and created is preserved, right? So for you guys, right? Obviously, you guys probably know this, but like cash is kind of trash right now, right? The inflation rates are ridiculous. Like your money, go look at the inflation, go pull up some inflation thing after this. Maybe I'll send a link in after this call. Literally go look at the rate of inflation in 40 years. In 40 years, $1 million cash will only buy you 300 grand worth of purchasing power today. And that's not even accounting for all the printing they have not done. They have about $3 trillion that they're going to print. And then after this Evergrande thing, they're probably going to have to stim the economy more to keep it up before, because it's literally, they're sticking the economy up on like plastic sticks. But anyways, so you really got to think at the end of the day, preservation, right? Then after that, it's about yield. Okay. It's about how can I get my yield, right? How can I go ahead and take this capital and turn it into more money? Can I buy other businesses? Can I go and get exposure into real estate? Can I go get exposure into the stock market? Can I go get exposure into a trucking company? Can I go loan this money out? Can I go put it into crypto and stake it? Can I put it into NFTs? Can I go and take it and put it into a SaaS company? Can I go build a new company with it? What am I going to do with this money that is going to go out and turn it into more money? Why is being an investor the most important thing? And why, of course, dude, build businesses if you like building businesses. I love it. I will be a business builder till the day I die, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be an investor. Because the most important thing about an investor is that time is their greatest asset, and they guard it with everything. Whereas a business owner, most business owners, especially CEOs and entrepreneur level people in this journey, they're throwing their time away and pissing it away on everything. Don't believe me? I bet you if I sat next to you for a day, I'd literally be smiling watching how much you piss away your time. Every little problem, every single, because you know what most people are doing? They're the center of their business, and then 50 data streams are going into their head all at once, and then they're having to just make all these decisions. By the time the day's over, they're drained. They don't even want to do anything anymore. Whereas I've seen the happiest, most fulfilled, literally the people that are the most like just living the best life. If you guys really want to live better lives, sitting back, calm, cool, collected, right? These are the really biggest attributes of investor, right? Calm, cool, collected, and most importantly, strategic, right? Unbothered. Okay. They're going out and they're saying, hey, I've got this exit. Right? I'm going out and buying, selling businesses. I'm taking my capital and I'm purchasing energy. I'm purchasing power. I'm purchasing results, right? So an investor, because they're smart, instead of going out and, maybe they want to go out and build a really cool company. What an investor will do, because they're smart and they know that, hey, time is limited, right? I don't got all the time in the world, but because I'm an investor, money's not real to me. And I can keep making more of it because I know how to print money. I know how to get yield, and I know how to preserve it. So money's a joke to me now. So what they're going to do is they're just going to go out and find somebody who's stupid enough to spend all their time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears to go build a company that they think is cool. And they're going to give them money, right? And they're going to say, hey, let me get 30% of the company. You spend the things that you will never get back in your life ever, and I'll get the result for it. And yeah, it's hard to realize. I mean, most people can never even get to this stage. Most people go look at how many accredited investors there are in the United States right now. Let's go pull that up. I don't know that number. An accredited investor in the United States is, I know you guys are international, but basically to be denoted as an accredited investor, the reason you get an accreditation is because you want to be an investor. You want to be able to get into certain deals that only accredited investors can get into, like private equity rounds, like some like pre-IPO stocks like Uber, Zoom, all these companies pre-IPO. You need to be a accredited investor to get in, or know somebody who is. So, and to denote that, you need to make over $250K a year or have $1 million net worth. Look that up. So I mean, there are about 9% of households in America are accredited, meaning one person has that accreditation. So think about it. That's one out of 10 people will get to this stage. Only 1 out of 10. Now, obviously, you guys are all the exception because you already are the 1 out of 10. So, at the end of the day, that's kind of the journey of entrepreneurship, right? And of course, I want to go into the nitty gritty. I just want to give you it's very important that you see how I see things so that all the stuff clicks. But these mindsets and mind shifts are very important, because at the end of the day, getting to the stage of being an investor is the most important thing if you want to live a great life. Because any other way, I mean, who's to say you won't live a great life, but you won't have the freedom of time. You won't have to literally at any point, because I've set myself up properly with the asset structures and passive income that I have. I could literally burn any company I build to the ground and not even care. I could literally disappear and be chilling, no problem. And it's just because I've set myself up. Yeah, the goal is to be an investor. Absolutely. So That's kind of the journey. And then you want me to get into like the nitty gritty structural? Because obviously, you know how I like to do, Zabs. I like to go high level and then we can go super detail.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my next question was going to be, a lot of students current state are anywhere between like 10 to 100 grand, or a lot of members here. What does, let's say somebody it's 100 grand, what does the structure look like for an Amazon business in specific? What type of people do you need? What are those different things that you should consider to get you from 100 to a million per month, for example?
Cool. And in regards to, is it 100 grand a month or 100
Yeah,
grand?
100 grand a month, 100 grand a month.
Okay, cool. All right. So for most people doing 100 grand a month, right? And again, the thing is like Amazon allows for you to do this being a one-man show. Like I will very frankly say that you can make 100 grand a month literally being one person. And it's because that's why Amazon is so rich, right? Because they made it possible for one person to make 100 grand a month. It is very possible. However, you'll be pretty busy, I think. You're going to be dealing with quite a few things. And you certainly will need, I believe, a team to efficiently do $1 million a month. Now, again, can you do this business with one person? Yes, you can. It's pretty crazy. So what I'll do is basically I'll break down each parts of the business and how it all operates, and then we can go from there. So at the end of the day, if you think about business, I always draw this because it's always helped me understand things. These are the sections of business. You got marketing, sales, delivery, and something called operations, finance, or OpFi, right? This is like the structure of your business. This is what allows the business to actually exist. So obviously in Amazon with marketing, it's ranking and it's PPC, right? And then maybe some external traffic, although, usually if you're doing external traffic, you're doing it for the purpose of ranking. Sales, obviously, or rather conversions, right? Or having a really great lander, having a really, really optimized set of images, making sure that your product is positioned properly, things like that. And that's really kind of, it's weird. Online marketing and sales is kind of like the same thing. Delivery, obviously, if you're using FBA or if you're doing, third-party logistics, making sure that that's taken care of properly as well. And then lastly, operations finance, which is making sure that, your P&L, taxes, everything, etc., is taken care of. Now, you can do really what I recommend, because again, like, it's funny, like Amazon has made it so that I literally know people doing $1 million a month and they're a one-man show. It's so doable. And you guys know it probably is, because really, what do you need to make more money on Amazon? You need to sell more product. Okay, what do you need to do to sell more product? You need to order more product. Okay, what do you need to do to order more product? You need to spend more money. Okay, cool. You need to go spend more money. All right, go and get a credit line or work with a bank or whatever, or stack up your cash. But at the end of the day, we all know this, right? You go, you pay your supplier, the supplier ships it into FBA, FBA ships the products out, and that's that. However, I do believe that it's important, at least with the Amazon businesses, because it is so leveraged. You do set up a team of virtual assistants that can handle like the things that, that make it so that you don't need to worry about your business. So basically, honestly, you can have your account run by like one or two VAs. And the things that I have my VAs do to get businesses to this stage is truly, I have them manage really like all the communication gaps inside of the business. Because again, Amazon businesses are largely automated. We know this because Amazon lets you have all the software and technology that you might need. So specifically with virtual assistants, I'll usually have my sourcing agent. I'll usually just end up hiring them and having them manage the relationship with my supplier, like forever, basically. Why? They speak the language. They know what's going on. They found them for me in the first place. And also if I ever need other people, right, I just keep my sourcing agent on retainer, and I just say, hey, listen, like I just always make sure that this amount of units gets shipped in and handled. Okay. Then usually what I'll have other VAs do is PPC, right? This is, obviously once you have a strategy for PPC that's working, kind of just ensure that you're consistently optimizing. So it's, if you've already done this, it's really not much to take care of. And, you go off and make sure that they handle that. Now, usually my PPC VA is also my ranking VA. And when I say VA, like, I don't mean someone who you're paying cheap. I tend to spend more money on my people. You can spend cheap, it's fine, but I tend to spend more because I want people qualified. I want people really good. I want people with experience. So usually my PPC person will also be my ranking person, and I'll just make sure that that's all, all done properly, taken care of. Okay. So now that you get sourcing done and you get PPC and ranking and that part done, I'll usually have the same VA that handles my PPC, my ranking, and like making sure and monitoring the account with overall customer support. So any customer support or tickets that come through, right? Because you need to make sure that you respond to your customers within 24 hours or Amazon's going to get at you. I have them handle overall support, management of the account, updating stats, updating information, making sure I know, like, I've made my business, so I don't need to look at inside the Amazon seller dashboard. I just go look at my spreadsheets and things like that. And I go, okay, cool. Like, money's being made. This is the profitability, etc. And this same VA, the one that's logging into my Amazon portal, it's one person, right? Usually one person per business, right? Because there's going to be multiple SKUs, and unless you have them do things properly, you usually don't want to mix them. But literally, like, same person going in, they log in, anything that has to do with logging into the Amazon portal, checking in on inventory, cool, that's them. Checking in on PPC, cool, that's them. Checking on rankings and seeing if we have to run a ranking campaign, cool, like that's them. Going in and checking and responding to the support tickets, things like that, that's them. Okay. Now, the thing that is actually going to jump your business, let's say from 100 grand to $1 million or to $1 million plus, is hiring someone on top of this structure. Okay. And why is that? Because the answer to scaling your business and removing yourself more and moving up that stage of the hero's journey of entrepreneurship is always ask yourself, what are you doing? And you remove yourself, right? You put yourself, right, where your current actions are. So most people at this stage, they're making 100 grand a month. Usually they've got a couple of VAs in place handling things, right? But guess what? What are they still doing? They're still looking for product opportunities, right? They're still looking for market opportunities. They're still going out and looking for, new products to launch, right? They're still going out and they're looking for, doing market research, seeing, market trends, right? You're still going out often and finding capital solutions or cash solutions, right? They're still going out and managing cash flow, and doing all these things. Like, at the end of the day, that big jump that gets you to $1 million. Now, again, I'm going to tell you, like, I literally know people that do $1 million a month on Amazon, and they're a one-man show. Like, it is possible because that's Amazon. Amazon does make it possible to do that. It's like, because you just got to move more units. But if you think about it, a lot of people on the way there and who want to go past that, because again, like Amazon, $1 million a month, even that, like, I've seen people who do like 20, 30, 40 million a month. And we've been behind accounts that have been up to upwards of 2.5, 3 million a month. So you can certainly get there. What you want to do is all these roles, ideally you want to consolidate into 1 or 2 people. Okay. And they're, usually these people are getting paid 5, 10 grand a month. Okay. But they're literally taking charge, right? Like, it's no longer, you really want to go the next level in business, no longer do things. Seriously. It's a weird, like, dichotomy. It's like, wait, what? Are you sure? Is that how it works? Right? But yes, it is, right? Because once you're removed, you have the freedom to actually expand, right? Because most people, like, at the end of the day, like, if you study enough entrepreneurship, you realize, like, the amount of money somebody makes is literally just in proportion to a few things. It's in proportion to the value they bring to the table, to the market that they're selling it to, okay? And the difficulty of the problem that they're trying to solve. It really is, right? Like, why is Tesla worth like whatever billions? He made a self-driving car, right? Why is Apple worth so many billions? They turned a BlackBerry, ugly ass BlackBerry, into a like glass piece of like heaven, right? Like if you took a Nokia like back like 1000 BC, people would think you brought a rock to them. You bring an iPhone to somebody 1000 BC, they'd worship you. Like this level of sophistication, the way that they've created simplicity, that's the value they brought to the market, right? So, and then obviously then the market itself, right? If you're selling like eraser tips, right, probably won't make a lot of money, right? But if you're selling something in a booming market, right? So let's say some sort of, I know somebody's making a ton of money selling a brand of crypto wallet that he made, right? Like he's selling on Amazon. Yeah, that's gonna blow up. Of course it is, right? And a lot of people, I'm telling you, like this is where people win in business. The truth about business really is if you get the value right, you get the market right, and you solve a problem well, business is actually a downhill battle, not an uphill. And most entrepreneurs, they'll tell you, man, like I'm just grinding it out, right? And what's the culture of entrepreneurship? Grind, hustle, hustle. But in reality, if you build a great product and you deliver to a market well, and you go blue ocean, right? And you do it strategically and you play the game right, business is easy. Like it works. You make a lot of money, quick, fast, right? Like the problem is most people in entrepreneurship right now, they're always selling in red markets or bloody markets where everybody and their mother is selling in that market. There's no moat. There's no way to protect their market, right? Like there's no way to protect their product. There's no way to like make it proprietary. Why do you think I'm getting into SaaS? Because it's going to take you 2 years to build a SaaS company, to build the technology that I'll build, right? I've been building my SaaS company since February, even a little bit longer, but dude, I've been developing a software since February. It's September now. I still don't have a full beta out yet, right? Think about that. Am I stopping? No. Am I moving as fast as I can? Yeah. And still, right? So that's a big moat, because when somebody goes to try and rip my software off, it's going to take them 2 years. By the time they get their piece of crap software out, I'll already have dominated the market, right? So what a lot of people like don't realize when they want to make more money, it's not just like, I really want you to ask yourself this. If this is an uphill battle, ask yourself a question. Am I doing this wrong? And guess what? The only way for you to come to those realizations is for you to have the freedom and the time to think, right? Which is afforded by putting someone in charge of these operations, launching new products, scaling your product line, making sure that your USP and unique value proposition is positioned to the market, making sure someone's managing your customer experience post-sale, right? All those things that normally you worry about. You want to go scale. I tell us every time an entrepreneur says, hey man, I want to grow my business, I say, first of all, we got to take a look at the bottlenecks. And then second, dude, you want to grow your business, literally do less and you will make more. It is a direct, inverted correlation, right? The less you do, the more you'll make after you've got the thing rolling. The less you do, the more you'll make. Because why? Not because you're sitting on your ass doing nothing, like, just like smoking bogues all day and drinking beers. Like, no, that's not what you're doing. You have the freedom and time to use this supercomputer that you have in your brain that you rarely use because you're running around on a hamster wheel, right? You go from running on a hamster wheel and putting one foot in front of the other to solving this Rubik's Cube, right? And seeing the game from a higher level. And so that's what having people under you affords you. It affords you the ability to have this higher level thinking process. Let's see. So, specifically and strategically, at 100 grand a month, you're either just doing it yourself or you've got a few VAs. Now at this stage, you really need to ask yourself, what things am I doing on a day-to-day to grow this company forward? Can I pay someone 5-10 grand a month? Will it hurt? Yeah, of course it will, because at 100 grand a month, I don't know if you meant profit or not, but if that's rev, it's really like 20, 30 grand in profit a month. Firstly, I would definitely say like specifically, strategically, right? Like let's take a look at the business itself. Can we squeeze more out of the rankings? Can we get our rank higher? Can we, get our PPC more optimized, or have we already saturated the market? If you've already saturated the market, yeah, you want to launch a new product. And so if you're doing any of those things, if you're in the process, if you have to be the one to launch the product, well, I mean, good luck trying to grow to multiple millions per month, right? Because you just have no structure, and you have no ability to think forward. So if you guys have any specific questions on like any way to get around these challenges, but hopefully that was a little bit more of a detailed answer on like specifically how you're going to do it, like get to that $1 million a month mark. Guys, $1 million a month is no different than 100 grand a month. You're just selling 10 times more things. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like it's you're if you can get to 100 grand a month, you are no different than somebody that can do 10 million a month. It's just operations and capital and market.
Agreed. Question for you, Zan. In regard to that person that you hire for 5 to 10K, would you recommend that person being local, or would you feel confident in hiring like a stud VA that has experience in doing this?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, the benefit of globalization, right, is that, we do have access to some of the top talent in the world, all across the world, not just in Canada or the US or whatever. So this is all I tell you, man. I don't care who you hire, just make sure they're the best. Because if you hire the best, you'll get the best.
Fair enough.
Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. Diamonds in, diamonds out. So
very true.
If you can pay someone in Pakistan or India or the Philippines, you're gonna pay them $3 grand a month, $4 grand a month, but they can speak great English, be very strategic, be very talented, understand things. But again, this is all I'm gonna say. Like, there's a lot of really, really, really smart people you can hire for 10 grand a month in the United States or in Canada. Like you can get ex-CEOs that have retired. You think about like you're like go on Upwork or go on Indeed and literally hire like, a COO for your business, or hire a somebody to manage, like a store manager, or something like that. That you can create a job posting for. You can hire some guys. The point of business, can I tell you? The point of business is to hire people smarter than you, not dumber than you. Entrepreneurs get that twisted because we're superstars, and superstars think, oh, I can make anyone a superstar. Oh, I can just teach anybody anything. Oh, I'm just this like magic touch that I can just touch things and things work. Okay. The point of business is to hire people smarter than you. Hire people smarter, sharper, faster, quicker, whatever, and hire them and pay them well. And they will literally make you rich. They will make you rich. Okay. I hired our CEO for 5K a month. Okay. Plus 3% equity. She took, I think, 8 of our brands from 50K a month to 500 to 700 grand a month each, within 2 years. Why? Of course she did, because I hired a savage. She used to run a hospital. Think about that. She was a nurse that was so good at, like the people who own the hospital picked up on her acuity and talent. They literally had her run the whole hospital. What's her name, huh? Her name starts with a Y. That's all I'll tell you. And she lives in Florida. She's her parents are immigrants, and she's like, I think she's in her 30s. She's a mother of 2, like her, when we hired her husband was like, because her husband just wanted to chat because it was a work from home kind of job, and like we're a newer company, and her husband was like, yeah, like she runs the pants, she's just like on it, she runs our whole life. And you want someone like that. You want someone super anal, super on it, super driven, super like, that doesn't need to be you. Go use your brain to think about the future and the vision. And so we put her in place. We got to teach her the right things, educate her the right way, and she took off.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Which kind of leads me to my next question. When it comes to, and this is more so around the VAs, not necessarily like these high-level CEOs, COOs, C-level people, but when it comes to hiring VAs, that process, you mentioned you like people that are obviously very skilled, talented, things along those lines. What does that hiring process look like? Do you do an interview? Is it like a project-based thing? What does that look like? And how do you really vet these people on the front end?
Yeah, so usually for VAs, I'll use like Upwork, or I'll use onlinejobs.ph, or I'll use my network. At this point, I have a really big network. A lot of my hires come through my network, because it's just like when people recommend people, obviously that means something. And so I'll go and I'll do a job posting, right? And what I'll do in my cover letter, first, I'm very direct. So I say, I'll just put direct, and I'll just tell you guys, but I'll be like, I'm looking for somebody who can do X, Y, Z. So let's say I'm hiring someone for PPC ranking, or like what I usually call it is internal Amazon channel management, right? That's what it is. They're an internal Amazon channel manager. They go inside the portal, they check my PPC, check my sales, check my rank, run any systems I need, make sure my inventory is in stock, all that, right? So someone who has I usually like to hire someone with at least 2 years of experience. So I say minimum 2 years experience managing and being inside Amazon brands, skilled results with PPC, skilled results with ranking, or at least initiating and triggering ranking campaigns and doing keyword research, handling different data streams and information and brand analytics and things like that on the internal inside of Amazon, the Amazon channel. And basically what we do there is inside of that cover letter, I'll then ask questions that only I know someone who knew, those things would do. So, tell me your strategy on how to reduce ACoS on an account. Write it out. I want it written, or you can make a Loom video, right? So they can't even apply unless they answer these questions. I'll say, what affects rank, right? What factors affect rank on Amazon? And then I'll say, do you have a formula for figuring out when to reorder units, right? Things like that, right? So I ask questions that only someone who had to know how this works would know. Okay. Then I ask about their experiences, and then lastly, I ask for proof and results and references and things like that. I actually tend not to do interviews. I think interviews are, I don't know. I think interviews are just kind of archaic. The first time I speak to them is my interview with them. I'm trying to mitigate contact on the phone in meetings as much as possible. I think in 2021 meetings are archaic. I think getting on Zoom calls, all that kind of stuff, that culture is gone. Alex Becker's built a $200 million company in 3 years with doing, like less than one meeting per like 2 weeks or something with his team. So it's like, I believe it's archaic, and you can have whatever belief you want, but that's just what I believe. And so what I'll do is how I know if I'm going to work with someone is actually through their cover letter, right? Like that's how I know I'm going to work with them. Just go, cover letter takes 2 minutes to read. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right. So I'll pick the person with the strongest cover letter, and I'll bring them on. And, usually I ask them to make a Loom video of sorts, right? So I don't have to, I know that they can speak and they're articulate and stuff. And once that happens, I'll literally just give them a project, and I'll pay them for the time. I'll say, hey, listen, this is not a guaranteed employment. This is what I need you to do. You're going to do it for X amount of time, and I'll pay you for your time. And at the end of it, I'll let you know if, you'll stick around. It's not, again, that's how you have to do it, because interviews, anybody can lie on an interview. Like what? Like you can say anything you want to me, right? But it's one thing to say something. It's one thing to do something. So they do it, and then after like a week, 2 weeks, I see their work, and I go, all right, cool. Now you're on board. In the meantime, I've usually, I've got a couple other apps stacked. Picked, the top 3, top 4 apps that look the best. You'll know, like, dude, if somebody puts an effort to create a phenomenal app and the answers that you asked are right, and they teach you something that you don't know on an app, all right, cool. Like this guy's good, right? Again, your job as a CEO is to assemble a team. And even if it's a VA, go hire the best, right? Go hire the best. So that's my process. And then, so very direct, right? And then, like I said, I'll ask questions. They'll make me a Loom video. I'll pick, top 3. And then one by one, right? First, I'll give the first one a chance. Couple weeks of work, right? Let's call it 2 weeks of work paid. I do pay. And then, if the first one's not good, then I go to the second. If second one's not good, I go to the third one's not good. I ask myself, what am I doing wrong here? Let me go check the post. Like, what's going on? And usually if by 3 people is not good, then usually it's because you didn't write the post properly.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, agreed. Zan, before we dive into everybody's questions about VAs and employing people, I wanted your take on pros and cons of having somebody in your team in-house or virtually, but having someone in your team versus hiring an agency who could do a lot of work for you. What's your take on that?
Okay, so really at the end of the day, that question comes down to your personality, actually. Everyone's different. And it has to do with personality, really. So there's 2 kind of people, right? There's people, well, not 2 kinds, but everyone's on a spectrum. There's multiple spectrums, but one of the spectrums is something called the control threshold. So some people are a 0 out of 10 out of 1 in control, and they don't want any control. And they're like, dude, just do it. And if it works, cool. And then some people are like, I need to be in control of everything. Like, right? You probably know who you are just based on what I just said. I lean very high here. I desire a lot of control. I'm kind of a control freak. I've learned how to obviously not be annoying, but I do want control. My personality finds like comfort in having not being a power grabbing, but just kind of okay, cool. Things are good, right? And I have the ability to directly affect things. So the thing is, for someone like me, agencies are not going to work, because even if the results are good for an agency, I'm going to be blowing my agency guy up. I'm going to be like, yo. Like, if I work with an agency, they literally have to hire me an employee. Okay. They have to hire me a guy for the agency, because they need, I need a guy in my company that's mine, that I can talk to get the work done. Now, the pros are agencies are often if they're good, they're really good. If they're good, they're really good. And it's easy to find great agencies at the end of the day. You just got to look at the results. Yeah, sure, people get burned all the time, but that's just because they didn't check the results. They didn't do their homework. Very easy to tell if someone can do the job or not. They can do the job, people are telling you they can do the job. There's going to be a long list of people going, yo, this guy made me a lot of money. So agency, the pros of agencies, that you can make a lot of money because they are really good at what they do if you find a good one. But it's just personality, right? Now, if you're closer to 0, agencies are great, especially obviously a good one. Because, dude, you don't have to worry about, really anything. You just hand the job off. They do it. And the premise of an agency, again, a good agency is going to be really good at what they do, because the only way agency makes money is if they're good at what they do. Of course, if some dude who made an agency a year ago was like, yeah, dude, I'll run your Facebook ads. He never did it before, he's going to do a bad job. But good people who, and I literally work with some agencies right now, but they have direct people that they have to end up hiring for me, because I need someone usually in-house. So it's more honestly a personality thing. There's no, there's people who will go make, look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's billions and billions and billions of dollars. They hired an agency. Then there's other companies that are billion-dollar companies that have in-house marketing teams. It's just the personality of the business owner.